play the intro, right? What's up, everybody? Not audio just should have kicked in. Can you guys hear me now? Chris says he can hear me. Perfect, perfect, perfect. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Um just always like to give it a few minutes here. We're super early. We always like to give you a look, kind of behind the scenes as we get going. You'll see here in just a couple of minutes. We'll start out with like a quick little intro video. Thanks to our marketing team. Basically, we'll do our quick presentation here. I will stop sharing the screen and we'll do a live Q&A session. But basically, today is all about alternative funding. And you get a chance, for lack of a better term, to kind of hear it from the horse's mouth. We do a lot of lending to small businesses, and we're great at what we do, and we're excited to share this information. So I hope you guys are ready to rock out. I see some people already kind of writing in the chat here. I love that. I always like to get started kind of the same way, just who you are, where you're calling in from, and whether you're already partnered with ROK or not. I always like to know, who's out there in the audience, especially active partners. It's always awesome to get a chance to reconnect. I see Richard down in Pompano Beach, Florida. Tom, active partner. Vicky from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Orlando, active partner. A lot of active partners. Wannabe partner. I love that. Elizabeth in Arizona signed up. I love it. Garden City, Utah, active partner. Shout out to Christian. Need to get more active. I love that. Need to get more active. We need that. We need the activity. You hear me talking to the guys on the team. That's what it's all about. It's all about activity. How many contacts can we make? Shout out to you guys if you are active partners. Thank you for joining us today. Love that we have this community. You guys are what it's all about. So thank you guys all for being here. If you haven't had a chance to be on one of these webinars, or you're not an active partner with ROK, good thing for you. We make that process super easy. So you can pretty much do that at any time throughout the call today. You'll see we'll have Christina helping out. She'll be dropping a lot of that contact info in the chat for you guys. But basically, you could do that while we're on the call. You could wait till after the call. But excited to hopefully get some new partnerships and get to meet some new people out of this. And shout out to all the existing partners on the platform here. It seems like we're pretty much all over the map. I see Texas, California, Florida. I saw Arkansas before. I saw Atlanta. I see a lot of different places. So it's always awesome to get a chance to connect. We'll actually be in Texas, Dallas and Houston, right? Dallas and Houston in October. Looking for a little verification there. Dallas and Houston in October. So keep a lookout for us. We'll be in a city near you soon. I also know I'll be in Vegas. I'll be in Orlando possibly in November. So definitely keep a lookout for those types of emails from us and that type of communication. If you're in the local area, we usually ping you with like an email or a text message letting you know, hey, ROK's in town. So make sure you stop on by. We always welcome the chance to get to put a face with a name. And we do a lot of business through the phone, right? It's 2023. Cell phones have taken over, whether you're team iPhone or team Android. They're pretty much everywhere. So it's tough to kind of get past that, but we love to do that. That's our favorite part of the job, getting to meet people, do real business, and make a real difference. That's really what it comes down to. We'll give it another minute or two here. If you're just joining, we're just looking for who you are, where you're calling in from, and whether you're an active partner with us or not. Look forward to working with everybody who's not, but if you are, we definitely want to be able to shout you out. I'm gonna grab a quick drink. All right. Just sound check one more time, really quick, if you guys can still hear me. Want to make sure that we're live. Thanks, Tom. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We're already over 100 people. I'm not exactly certain where we landed on number of attendees today, but I do know we were approaching a record. I saw 850 people were registered earlier. We're at 119 participants right now. So shout out to all of you. If you did register or you are on the call, or even if you lose contact, I just want to say loud and clear at the very beginning of this, you will get a copy of this presentation. Everybody that registers gets a copy of the presentation, as well as a recording of today's webinar. So you definitely want to make sure you could stick around, but at the same time, if you have to jump, totally get it. I know that this is a time that's convenient for us, but it might not be convenient for everybody. So without further ado, I do believe we're just about ready to rock here. I see a quick question. Can we get copies of prior programs? I'm assuming you mean like webinars and stuff like that. Absolutely. Everybody gets access to that. Just reach out to your partnership advisor. They can point you in the right direction of where that catalog of videos lies. It's always in the portal, but there's also some links for it as well. Are we ready to rock? Waited 2 weeks for today's call. I love that. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for joining. Active partner in Flint, Michigan. Shout out to Lawrence. Nashville, Tennessee. I'm actually going to be in Nashville in September. I forgot Nashville. How could I forget? That's actually the trip coming up most soon. So we'll be in Nashville, I believe September 5th to the 8th. So definitely keep a lookout for that communication. It'd be great to meet anybody that's out there. Yeah, we're good. Recording. We'll add sound to the recording. All good. Sorry, a little bit of technical difficulty on the sound there on the video. Again, excited to have everybody on the call. Thank you so much for joining us. Without further ado, we are going to get rocking with today's presentation. Once we go through the presentation, we'll do a Q&A session at the end here. It's probably where you'll find the most value. If you have questions as we go throughout the presentation, I just ask that you use the Q&A section for that. I will legitimately go right from the Q&A and be answering your questions one by one in the Q&A. So make sure that you put those questions in there so that I can keep track of them. Otherwise, if you put them in the chat, then we're not going to be able to really keep track of those. So definitely make sure that that those questions, you're putting those in the Q&A, and we'll definitely get all questions answered as we kind of go here. I'm super excited. I hope you guys are excited for today's call. Realistically, there's no better topic to talk about than alternative funding sources for small businesses. At the end of the day, there's still a statistic that exists that 7 out of 10 business owners don't know that they can't get financing outside of their local bank. That's a crazy statistic to me. There's 33.5 million small businesses in the United States. That's a lot of people. When you talk about 70% of the people who then apply for a loan believe that that's their only option, and banks typically decline upwards of 80-90% of the borrowers that apply with them. That's a crazy statistic that we're talking about. It's the majority of the market, realistically. So it's important that everybody understands what's available to small businesses. Now, the one thing I can tell you is this is a dynamic topic. If we do this webinar again in 6 months, I can assure you we're going to be talking about different products, different resources, different qualifications, different industries getting different loans. So just make sure that you understand that this is certainly a moving target, right? Anytime you talk about lending, lending is based on risk. So at the end of the day, as risk factors change from the economy to the businesses to industry trends, all of that stuff is going to affect the lending that goes on behind the scenes. So it's important that you really understand that type of thing, that part of things as we get going. There we go. Sorry, I was moving a little quick there. So what is so important? Why is there an importance? Well, that's exactly what I was just telling you about. It's a majority of the small business market that isn't qualifying for the funding that they're looking for. So how do you then start to piece together what it is that you're going to be able to offer them? Well, you have to look at what's already available, right? And that's the traditional thinking. So what do traditional lenders look for? Well, they have an extremely limited risk tolerance. It's extremely time consuming and document intensive to get through their process because, I once heard from a banker, shout out to this banker, but they told me that banks always like to give out umbrellas when the sun is shining. And that one hit home for me. I really understood what they were talking about, that banks like to lend to the cream of the crop, right? They want great opportunity. They want great businesses who are facing these great opportunities. They're in great areas. They are in a great industry. Everything has to be checked off for traditional lending. And there's nothing wrong with that. A certain portion of the market is going to meet those qualifications, but a certain portion of the market may not. Right. So that's why we got to understand, what are they actually looking for? Well, they're looking for collateral, right? They want to know that you own your building or that you have receivables or some form of collateral going into the deal, right? They have strict credit requirements and they want to look at your financial performance. And realistically, they're also going to look at your relationships with them and other lenders, right? They're going to look at the credit score and they're going to look at the credit quality. But if you have a relationship with the lender, that's also going to go into things here, right? If you've been banking with the same bank for 20 years and now you're going to go get your first loan after 20 years in business, you might have a good shot. But if you just opened your account 3 months ago, do you have the same type of opportunity? Absolutely not. And that's what we are here to explain, is those differences, right? So what is it that would cause a client to not qualify, or what does it take for them to actually qualify for traditional lending, right? So an excellent credit score, right? So you might be familiar with the FICO credit scoring system, right? There's tiers in credit, right? There's poor, there's good, there's average, there's great, there's excellent. Banks look for excellent credit when lending to small businesses. I firmly believe that small business lending is probably the riskiest portion of a bank's portfolio, because it's where they have the least amount of security, right? Somebody's not going to default on a mortgage because it's for their home. Their business loan, though, it's a little different, right? You're not as tied down to that same type of product, or you don't necessarily need all that security. If you don't own your business, you might be able to go get a job and still afford your mortgage, right? So do they have collateral, or do they own their building, right? They want to know that they're able to add extra protection to these deals, because even if they do cash flow, if these deals cash flow, right, and they meet the credit criteria, but there is availability for banks to take collateral, they're going to do that. They put what's called a blanket lien out, and they put a lien on all of your collateral, from real estate to receivables to equipment, right? And any other things that the business may own, they're putting a blanket lien on, because when push comes to shove, they want to make sure that they get paid, right? Have you been in business for at least 2 to 3 years? And I stress the at least, because banks really look for 2 to 3 years of profitability. And if business owners, a lot of times they're getting, they're being consulted to not claim profitability in their first couple of years. So it really is a catch-22 that you have there. Yes, you may save, in terms of tax liability, because you're not as profitable of a business. But at the end of the day, are you also hindering your growth because now you can't go get access to capital, right? So it's important that you understand that these businesses also need to be profitable, right? And that's where it comes into maintaining healthy financials. That has to do with their bank statements and how much cash flow they keep and the cash that they keep on hand, and ultimately where they're spending their money, and how they make their money, how often do they get paid. All of this goes into the risk factors that are associated with any particular deal. So when you really want what you really want to do is understand that literally every box is checked, right? That's traditional lending. It's very black and white. You either qualify or you don't. And the second you don't meet a criteria, it's a decline. They're not going to look to extend money to a business that isn't profitable. They're not going to look to extend money to a business owner who doesn't have excellent credit. So it's important that you understand it's not just meeting some or even one of these criteria. No, it's you have to be doing a mixture of all of these things. So it's very important that when we start to talk about alternative financing, the first conversation that we actually have to have is actually about traditional financing and understanding what does that look like right now. The other thing that I want to mention before I even dive into some of the frequently asked questions here is that traditional financing right now is even expensive. If you look at prime rate, I believe prime rate is 8.25. I'm sure somebody in the chat could probably correct me if I'm wrong there, but at the end of the day, that's expensive, right? Especially when we start talking about how long is the rate going to compound? Is it 10 years? Is it 25 years? Right? So just make sure that you really understand the different deals that are available, and really, really understand that when it comes down to it, cost is a relative term. You really have to understand what is it that the business owner ultimately qualifies for and how are they utilizing the funding, right? So that's where alternative funding comes in, because if you have a business owner, like I said, that doesn't check the boxes, you really need to make sure that, hey, what are the other opportunities that might be out there for them, right? So what are the alternative funding sources? How do alternative funding sources differ from traditional lenders, right? And how can I determine if my clients are actually going to qualify? These are all things that we're going to go over in the presentation, right? So it's important that we really, really kind of dive into things so that you guys have a full understanding of the entire market and what it looks like, right? So how could a business improve their chances of obtaining funding once they hit the alternative market? Well, the number one thing that all lenders in alternative finance look at is your use of funds. They want to know that you're putting the cash, or you're putting the money that they're giving you towards business purpose, right? So it's important that you really outline what that means, right? Working capital is a broad term. You may not want to say that one. Marketing is a broad term. You may not want to say that one. You want to let them know, hey, when I use this marketing, I'm updating my website, or I'm adding new lead sources, or I'm hiring employees, and those 3 employees that I'm hiring for the position that I'm hiring typically bring me X amount of dollars per month. These are all things that you want to explain in your use of funds or on behalf of your customers, because at the end of the day, this is what the lenders are making their decision on. They're going to decide whether they actually want to lend to the situation that your customer might be in, right? The other thing that they can do is maintain healthy cash flow, right? What I mean by that is the second thing that lenders are going to look at outside of why are you using the money is that you can actually afford what you're applying for, right? So it's important that you understand, hey, could I afford a payment? And when could I afford a payment? Do I have a cash flow crunch every few weeks in my business where it might be hard to afford a payment? If so, it's important that we understand, will this cash that I'm going to get, or this loan or a line of credit or any type of funding that I'm looking to get, will that cause even more of a cash flow crunch, right? So it's really, really important that you really understand cash flow, how the business works, right? And what the opportunity is. Then you got to compare the options. I assure you, every business is going to have options these days on the alternative market. If you are somebody that is looking for it, you will find it. But you really want to understand, what are the fees and interest associated? What are the terms, right? If it's structured too short, can I afford the payment? If it's too long of a term, does that mean that I'm paying too much for the money and it's going to cost me more because the term is longer, right? How do you answer these questions? Well, you can seek out help from a company like ROK. We're right in the epicenter of essentially the entire business funding marketplace, right? Well, it says the ROK Financial Marketplace here, but that's because that's the approach that we take. We offer a lot of different funding through our platform, right? So when you look at a company like ROK, you're going to get access to all the different types of funding that might be out there, whether you're talking term loans, lines of credit, you're talking online lenders, you're talking money from private equity, right? Like, we're not going to give you equity, but our lenders might be backed by private equity, right? So you got to understand that, when you're working with ROK, we're going to basically take a deal and see what the marketplace has to say for it, right? So it really gives you a good idea of what's actually available. Some of the other places that you can go for alternative funding, right? If you have an Amazon store, I know they offer funding based on your sales through Amazon. Shopify is very similar. Same thing with Square. If you do processing through Square, they'll offer you money and you can get access to money through them, right? These are major, major, major corporations, right? PayPal offers lending. Goldman Sachs offers lending, right? PayPal was founded by Elon Musk. He was one of the founders, one of the richest people in the world, right? Jeff Bezos, he owns Amazon, one of the richest people in the world. They're in this industry. They're in it for a reason. It's because there's a real need. They're servicing a need, and by servicing a need, yeah, they'll make a little bit of profit. There's profits in this, but at the end of the day, the need has to be serviced, right? So it's important that when you start to understand if this is something that you're going to look to offer to business owners or to your customers, right, that are business owners, that you really, really have a good understanding that there is a need. It's not like it's irrelevant, right? Here, what we're doing is we're getting you access to funding that most people just simply don't have access to, right? So I want you to really understand the ROK side of this thing, right? Apologize for the shameless plug here. I know there's some new people on, or some existing partners that might not have a full understanding of ROK and what we bring to the table, right? So if you're a business owner, what you're looking at is access to better terms and lower rates. How we're doing that is because we have multiple funding options. So what we do is we take a business owner and we bring them to the market, right? And we may get 2 or 3 approvals, right? And then we're showing the lenders the approvals behind the scenes, because we share all of our data with our lenders so that they have the ability to win your customer's business, right? And we make them compete, and that's how they get access to better terms, longer terms, lower interest rates, higher dollar amounts. It's all through the ability that ROK has to share information quickly amongst those lenders, right? So you really have the advantage when you go to market, right? Because, as a business owner, you could go type in loans for, bad credit business owners on, online, and you'll come up with, hundreds of options, right? How do you know which one is right? How much time are you going to sink into all these into all these apps and all the back and forth that goes into it? Well, that's where the dedicated finance advisor comes in. Every business owner is going to get their own dedicated business finance advisor that will walk them through each of the steps, from applying to approvals to closing the deal and ultimately getting the funds into their account, right? And should they need money again in the future, we're also going to be there to service that. They also have somebody there that is now their point of contact, right? So what makes it different? Why is it so easy to qualify, right? What is the actual difference? Well, I know I mentioned some of the things that it took to qualify for traditional funding, but for ROK, there is no minimum FICO credit score. We don't necessarily have any industry restrictions. It's all about, hey, do you have 3 months time in business? Do you have a business checking account? And are you generating $5,000 per month in revenue into that checking account? So as long as the business owners that you're working with or you're planning on working with meet those criteria, there's options available to them. If they're a brand new startup, we might be able to get them equipment financing, and that's a different conversation, We can go into that, in the Q&A if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about equipment financing. But as far as like getting cash to a business owner today, this is what it takes. We represent the entire alternative market, right? So this is what it takes. I can assure you, these are the minimum qualifications. Now, if you're looking for a few $100,000 or a couple $1 million in your business, you're not going to be able to do that at the minimum criteria. I do want you guys to know who our core borrower is, right? ROK's core borrower is actually somebody that has a year plus in business, right? They have about $1 million annually in revenue. They have a 640 plus credit score, right? So at the end of the day, there is a lot of qualified business owners who may just be missing the bank that are working with ROK as well as people who just meet this minimum criteria, have a sub, 600 credit score, or even, below 550, right? We help a lot of different business owners in a lot of different situations. So it's really important that you understand. I know I mentioned traditional lending is black and white. Well, ROK Financial and alternative financing, we operate in the gray. That's why I wore the gray today, so that you guys could keep that in mind, that at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot going on. And how do you know it's the best option? Well, let ROK do the shopping for you and your clients. What type of funding do we offer? We offer SBA loans, term loans, lines of credit, working capital, cash advances, working capital loans, specialty products like equipment financing and leasing, real estate funding, accounts receivable financing, ABL, factoring, you name it. Pretty much any type of funding that a business owner may be seeking in the alternative funding space, we have access to. So it's important that you really understand we're a full service loan brokerage. We're able to offer all of these different types of funding, and each one of these buckets has multiple lenders and multiple products inside each of the buckets, so that there's a ton of flexibility in who's going to qualify for each of them. So it's important that you understand the dynamic around, hey, if somebody doesn't qualify for something, we probably have another option, or maybe even two, that could service the same need, right? So what does that actually mean? Well, that means all you have to do is submit your clients. We will work the deals from open to close, and then you just sit back and earn commission. It's very, very simple. All you really have to do is provide to us what we call the 3 N's: the name, number, and the need. And that's it. That's all you need, right? At the end of the day, it's a very, very simple process, and we can handle it from front to back to front. It doesn't really matter to us. What matters to us is that it works for you and your process with your customers and the business owners that you work with. That's one thing that I will say, right? We provide a stellar out of the box partnership experience. It's something I take a lot of pride in, how hard our team works, from marketing to biz dev to sales to operations to leads to accounting, everybody in between. We all wave the partnership banner, that's for sure. And because of that, our whole system and process is built around partners. But that doesn't actually mean that what we've built is exactly what you need. We pride ourselves in being able to customize the approach as well. What works for you, what works for the customers, right? And how can we, what works for your customers, excuse me, and how can we best put a process together that works for everybody, right? We want to get everybody's deals done efficiently, quickly, and realistically make sure that everybody has the ability to make great decisions. That's what we pride ourselves in. Yeses or nos, it doesn't really matter to us, right? So for us, what we're looking at is simply the fact that all you really need to do is focus on your business and allow us to do what we do best. That's getting all of the I's dotted and T's crossed when it comes to funding for your small business clients. You get access to our portal. In the portal, you get access to marketing material, partner support, your pipeline, right? Managing your pipeline. You can get insights into all of your fundings, past fundings, partners, all of your commissions. All you have to do is simply utilize the portal itself. There's marketing materials. I think I saw some questions about marketing materials in the chat. But at the end of the day, there's marketing materials that you get directly in the portal. There's 2 custom landing pages that you can upload your logo to and utilize for your own marketing campaigns. So if you're not already in the portal, make sure you get access. But once you are somebody who is looking to get active with us, you will have access to our CRM. That's what the portal is. It's direct access to our Salesforce CRM. And I always make this joke. Does anybody, that's on here know what Salesforce stock ticker is? Anyone? Salesforce's stock ticker is CRM. Right? CRM, they're the CRM company. So if you want to get access to the CRM, you can work through ROK. We're going to give you access to our Salesforce where you have your own user, you log in, you get access to everything. It really, really is a simple and effective way for all of us to work together. It really, really does make the process that much easier, and allows you to kind of self-service, right? You can log on at your leisure and keep up with your pipeline. And then you're going to be looking at things like this, success stories, right? I want to point out a couple things, how quickly we're able to get the money, how much money people are making in commissions, right? And the fact that it doesn't really matter your industry, right? Restaurants are super duper tough for traditional lenders. If you think about it, there's a lot of statistics around restaurants not making out of their first 5 years or 3 years or even their first 12 months of business, right? Those statistics are real because they really matter and they really happen. And because of that, banks typically stay away. I really don't know of any banks that lend money to restaurants under 5 years under 5 years in business. And this business owner was looking to purchase an additional location, but already had 3 years in business. He just couldn't get approved at his bank, right? So it's important that you really understand all of the different avenues and ways that we can get deals done and how much revenue it could potentially mean to you. It's always important that you point out our team here, right? Because without the Rockstar team, we would not be who we are, right? So I always like to shout out the team because this is who works with your clients day in and day out. And then just a couple of plugs here. I will be going live on Instagram after the call, just in case I miss anybody in the Q&A here. As we get to the Q&A, I'll be answering some questions live on my Instagram. So feel free to follow ROK, follow Tony. We're certainly following back. I mean, shoot, there are 205 of you on the call right now. If everybody followed us, that would be a lot of followers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That would be awesome. If you already follow us, share our profile with somebody that you know that should be following us, because that's a really great spot to keep up with all of the information, all of the marketing, and all of the insight that we really pride ourselves in pushing. We push a lot of that information across social media. You'll see we're real people more than anything, and that's really what it comes down to. We know when we talk to a business owner, we always operate with empathy and respect because they're real people. We really understand the scenario that they're in. When you're the employer, it's a little different. You're worried about everybody. You're worried about everybody kind of getting home and everybody, being able to put a meal on the table at the end of the day kind of thing. And, we take pride in being able to help those people, the people that are out there working in the business and don't always focus so much on their business. We help auto repair companies and restaurant owners and retail shops and e-commerce and doctor's office and dentist office and vets and you name it, transportation, towing. We really help every business owner, and I've never met one who wasn't passionate about what they did and who they helped. But at the end of the day, we're here to help, right? That's what it's all about. We'll provide a ton of value, a ton of insight. They can apply with us and really understand what it is that they're able to qualify for and how they can apply that. I believe we're pretty much wrapping up. I think it's just the thank you slide here. Yeah, so stay in touch with us. right? If you're not a partner yet, you can reach out to us right now. You can call 833-653-0653. You can send an email to partners@rock.biz. You can go to rock.biz/partners and become a partner. You can do pretty much whatever, and we will certainly contact you. I just had somebody sign up through Facebook right before the call. So feel free to utilize the social media for that stuff as well. Definitely, appreciate everybody rocking out with us. I see some questions about like, hey, was this recorded? I joined a little late, or I missed the beginning. Absolutely. This is being recorded. We're going to be moving into our live Q&A session here. There's already 30 plus questions in the Q&A, so I better get rocking, as we say. If you are just joining though, and you don't really know or what we talked about, or you want me to touch on anything, please put that information into the Q&A. I will be taking the next few minutes here to answer a lot of those questions directly out of the Q&A, and hopefully give you guys some more insight into what we're doing. Shout out to all the people that already dropped some questions in here. Does ROK do business loans or lending or financing for the cannabis industry? Yes, we do. That's actually a major industry for us, in that we do a good amount of lending, a couple deals a month. Nothing too crazy. It's not like the top industry for us. I wouldn't say that we're gurus in it, but I also wouldn't give anybody the title of guru in cannabis lending, because the industry is so new. We offer a ton of different products, from equipment financing and leasing to commercial real estate to term loans, lines of credit, cash advance, all for the cannabis space. So if you have cannabis deals, definitely let us know. We got a lot of experience, a lot of insight into the market. Great question, but there's not going to be an industry that we're not really able to help, if I'm being completely honest. Sorry about that. Didn't want to cough. So let me just keep it moving. What's the best way to approach a banker that turns down borrowers, and how we can help them out? What a great question. Shout out to Mario for this question. What an unbelievable question. These are my favorite. If you are connected with me on LinkedIn, I have about 20,000 LinkedIn connections, and over 15,000 of them are those that are in or around the banking industry, or were in the banking industry. I take pride in being able to provide a lot of value to those people. So great question here. The best thing that you can do when approaching a banker is really learn what is their appetite or their lending, right? Again, I gave you some basic numbers around, credit scores and time in business. But you'll see that they have industries they really like. You'll see that they have a lot of different resources that they might provide, depending on whether they're a women-owned business or a minority business owner, or they have multiple owners, right? Or they're a publicly traded company or a nonprofit. So you really want to take time to understand, what does this banker do? What is their mission? How can I understand the types of people that they're working with currently, and then who are the types of people that try to really become that, or looking to do that, right? And then you kind of understand what their market looks like, and then you can show them the value that you're able to provide to that market, right? Hey, a lot of times the way that we explain our ability to help bankers is through just explaining the kind of crawl, walk, run approach of, hey, every customer that we work with at one point or another will be bankable in their business. And we refer to that term bankable being that, hey, you can go out and get a loan for your business from the bank, right? So if we're going to get them to that point, we take that crawl, walk, run approach. We make sure that the lending we give them today isn't going to hinder them 6 or 12 or 18 months down the line when they do go look to get that, that traditional type of financing. So you can show that, hey, not only can I help you, but we can also work hand in hand. And that's really the best type of relationship, is when there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of clarity, and really great communication. But great question for Mario again. Thanks so much. Can MCAs be refinanced into a RBF loan? If so, what MCA balances are accepted to be refinanced? I'm not too sure what you mean by the RBF loan. If you want to just ask that one again, I don't know if anybody knows what that means. I'd be happy to answer though. I'm just going to jump to the next one. What are the different loans that I can offer? Small business, mortgage, startups. I know I touched on this in the middle there with kind of the marketplace. Right. So the marketplace is made up of SBA loans, term loans, lines of credit, working capital, cash advance, and loans, um, as well as specialty products like um, commercial real estate, factoring, AR, ABL, equipment financing, all the different specialty products that are out there as well. So we offer all the different products that a business owner might need access to. I see you're asking about a revenue based finance loan. MCA and revenue based, they're pretty similar. I would say, hey, it's really all about when they took out those MCA balances. If somebody took out a couple of loans last week, we're not going to be able to do anything. But if there's the ability to refinance those deals, whether we're utilizing collateral or it's revenue based or whatever the scenario is, I've seen the SBA do it, in scenarios. So it really comes down to the scenario itself, whether we can refinance that debt. Like for example, there's a term loan lender on our platform backed by Goldman Sachs. Their rates start at 8.99% over 3 years. It's a monthly payment type of loan. But basically they'll refinance 1 to 2 balances in the right scenario. So it's important that you really just understand the backing. Can MCAs be refinanced? Yeah. But it's more about the whole scenario than just is it possible? Hope that kind of gives you some insight. If you have if you have a specific scenario, I'd be glad to answer. All right, just kind of keeping things moving here. I have a client that meets the minimum criteria, has a decent credit score, but his profit has just started this year. Does the equipment financing include Sprinter vans? Great question. Yeah, so equipment is a broad term. I've seen it used for FF&E, right? Furniture, furnishings, and I forget what the FFE stands for, but it's like basically lights and things like that, like computers, definitely vans and Sprinter vans and trucks and trailers and any type of construction equipment or medical equipment. All of that is certainly available on the equipment financing platform. There you go, George Anderson. Shout out to George for supporting us for as long as he has, but also helping me out there. I tripped on that one. Furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Exactly. Yes. FF&E. There you go. Shout out to George. He's a longtime active partner. Been to the office. Got a chance to meet George in person. That was awesome. Another question here. Does the business lending world have set guidelines across the industry, or does every lender operate on their own guideline/standard? I come from the mortgage lending space, so I'm always having to go through endless guidelines on what's allowed. Stephen, great question. It's exactly the same where, every lender pretty much can set their own criteria on what they want to do and how they want to do it. And then they don't even have to tell you when they change it. Right. So it's important that, you're able to really kind of keep up with a lot of this information. I'll tell you guys a quick secret. We don't even listen to the lenders when they tell us that they're making changes. We let the numbers speak for themselves. So we utilize the data on the back end, as well as a lot, the information from our lenders of, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're not doing, right? We'll still put it to the test ourselves and really understand, hey, I've seen lenders tell us in the past, we do loans as big as $1 million or as big as $2 million, and their biggest approval in the last 6 months was 200 grand, right? So that tells you the types of the type of information that might be out there, right? Lenders are testing things just like we are, just like as a business owner applies, they don't really know whether they're going to get approved or declined, right? Neither do the lenders. I can assure you that every deal that they're looking at to see, hey, is this a deal we can do? Does it make sense, right? So definitely make sure you're applying, you have the right type of support, in that process, and you have the right people in your corner as a business owner or somebody who helps business owners. I can assure you this is an unregulated industry, so there is a lot of people out there who don't do the right thing. So make sure you know who you're sending your information to. Make sure they have reputations and support, and ultimately a lot of security around their system. So that's a big part of why people choose to work with ROK, is because they know they're getting the name brand in the industry. Can partners use these fundings for our own businesses as well? Absolutely. If you are somebody that owns a retail store, or you are a doctor, or you own a restaurant, or you're in the construction industry and you're trying to do some fix and flip or whatever it is, we can certainly help you out. Definitely let us know. Some of our best partners have actually applied for funding and taken funding first. One of the major ones is there's a few out there that have done it, that are in terms of our partners, some of the top ones, major partnerships that we have, that, hey, we actually got them financing before they actually would go through with partnering with us. So it's good for us, because then you get a real understanding of what it takes, whether you are approved or declined. Unfortunately, if a business is referred over who has strong business credit, how does that affect what they have access for with your lenders? Strong business credit is one of those things that will certainly help a business owner, but nobody approves or declines strictly based on business credit. You may just get a little bit better terms or a little bit cheaper of a rate, type of thing, because of the strong business credit profile. We do pull a business credit report on most borrowers, depending on how much money they're looking for. So we're doing the same type of research that our lenders are doing. What's this question here? What's the max construction loan for commercial building that's available from ROK? Lisa, this is a great question. It really comes down to the opportunity. On the commercial side, we'll go as high as 30 million. I know that much. But we've even looked at some deals a little bit larger than that, never really gotten anything done or much traction on them. But we've looked at larger deals and had, the ability to start to put things together. But we can do some pretty large deals. Minimum and maximum loan amounts. Trick question. Now, we'll lend as little as $5,000, and typically on the unsecured cash side of things, we can go as high as $5 million. And then when you're looking at like ABL or commercial real estate or some of these other specialty products out there, we can get as high as 10, 20, or even 30 million, just kind of like I mentioned. Is there a set fee for the loans that goes to ROK? What is the percentage of commission that we get? Commission is going to be based on the business that we do back and forth. We have a lot of people who drive us a lot of traffic, and they make a lot of money, doing so. But we pay the most aggressive commissions in the industry. It's never been an issue for us. As far as a set fee, no, the fees are based on our lenders. Our lenders kind of dictate how we earn on the products, right? So some lenders pay us directly from the proceeds of the loan. Some charge a fee on their own and they split that with us. Others will have us charge a fee directly to the business owner. All of that stuff is kind of ironed out once we understand the type of product that we're going for, and ultimately what the business is actually starting to look like it's qualifying for. We go over all fees and interest and how that all works, pretty much for every option that you get. Just to touch on that really quick, when you are a business owner who gets an approval from ROK, you don't get an approval. You get a calculator sent to you that basically you can go in and play with the terms, the dollar amount. It will change the payment, the cost, right? It will give you the real deal of, hey, this is exactly what I'm looking at if I choose a 6-month offer or a 12-month offer or an 18-month offer or a 24-month offer, right? All the different nuances that go into all the different deals. you having that one interface there. Why that's so powerful is because it's a blended offer from all of the lenders, right? So if we sent a deal to 7 or 5 different lenders, let's say it was 5 and 4 of them approved, it could be a blend of 4 different offers that your customer is looking at in that calculator. And once they've made their decision, hey, I want this $70,000, 18-month deal, great, we're going to look to get that deal done for them. The second they click, hey, this is the one that I want, they're going to know every bit of the outline around it. So really, really have to understand that it's an awesome, awesome experience for the business owner themselves, where they are able to make a decision of what works for them, right? It's not necessarily from the lender saying, hey, this is what you got, does it work, yes or no? No, it's here's what you have available to you, does this work for you? Right, so make sure that you really understand that part of things when it comes to the when it comes to the business owner side of this, right? And I almost called them the consumer side, but they're not consumers, but they're our customers, right? For them, the process is seamless, and that's super important when you're somebody that is referring your business owner clients out. You can definitely bank on ROK, and that's what it's really all about. How do I get access to the portal? You should get access the second you sign up. I know the second you click send on the DocuSign and sign up with us, it automatically shoots out your access to the portal. So if you're not signed up with us, that's the easiest way to get access to the portal. If you are signed up and you didn't see the email come through, or you don't have access to the portal, reach out to us. I would even go as far as sending an email to partners@rock.biz. We can definitely get that over to you. That's an easy one. Do we fund fix and flips and rental property purchases? Yes, we do. Anywhere from 1 to 5 units, multifamily units. We'll do fix and flips, buy and holds. You name it. We're pretty much doing a little bit of everything. On all of the lending fronts. So if you have a particular scenario, definitely run that by us, run it by your partnership advisor. We would love to take a look at that stuff. Excuse me. Do we fund new development, construction plus the land? Yes, we can, Phil. It's all about the scenario. Excuse me, my eye was tearing. I couldn't read the question. Do we fund new land development, construction plus the land? Yes, absolutely. It really depends on the scenario. That's what I would say is the easiest way to understand, can we do something or not. Call us, explain the scenario, let's go through it. We may or may not have a solution for you, but you're going to know very quickly. And that's the beauty of it. Anytime you have something, we're going to give you a fast yes or a fast no. I can assure you of that. Do you fund purchase existing businesses, even if the borrower has a job? The only time we typically do existing business purchases is through the SBA. So they would have to be SBA eligible. So even if they did have a job, that's fine. But it would just have to be a situation where they were able to qualify. I just lost my spot in the 60 plus questions that are in the Q&A. Sorry. What's going on? There we go. All right, I'm back. Sorry. Another question about getting access to the portal. What type of working capital can we fund to a restaurant owner? Any type of working capital, term loans, lines of credit, cash advance, working capital loans. It doesn't matter to us. It's all going to be based on what a business owner qualifies for, to be honest. Thing is moving funky right now. Sorry. There we go. No, wait, it just put me back at the top. What's going on here? There we go. All right, I'm back. Sorry. Um, Specific, another question around lenders that will do specific to business credit. No, no lending specifically off of a business credit report. You can get like a line of credit or a credit line through like Uline or Amazon or a lot of different people out there that will offer business credit cards that you can utilize. So that would be more along the lines of something that's strictly based on business credit. um if you're looking for something like that, it's going to be more on, like I said, like the credit card type of thing. Wholesale distribution companies, absolutely. We fund inventory, we fund employment, people that are hiring employees, especially for the up and coming season, right? At the end of the year, we see a lot of companies ramp up. um it's really all about what they're doing with the money. Again, kind of like the presentation mentioned. When you're looking at the alternative space, it's all about what are you doing with the money. um I see a question here: how do we submit a file? I always make the joke that you could submit a deal however you'd like. You can submit it through the portal, you can submit it through email, you can send it by smoke signal, whatever works best for you. No, I would suggest you talk to your partnership advisor about what's the best process. We even have some partners that are API'd into the system, so it really depends on what works for you. Um, Yes, we do bridge loans, absolutely. Um, will you fund trucking companies to buy equipment? Yes, we can. Um, Really quick, there's a lot of duplicate questions in here, guys, a lot of the same stuff. So I don't like to not be able to provide value. So if you can, you have any other questions, something I might have missed, throw it in the Q&A now. I'll get that answered. But as we start to wrap up, just remember, I am going to be jumping over live on Instagram for a few minutes. So if you didn't get a chance, make sure you follow me. That's Tony_ROK on Instagram. Uh, but no, the real thing that I want to mention, guys, is thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being partners. Thank you for becoming a partner today. I hope you guys pulled some value out of today's webinar. Anybody who attended or registered for the webinar will certainly be getting a copy of the recording. So just make sure that you have access to that email that you signed up with. Any other questions in the Q&A? It looks like a couple did come in. Let's see what I might have missed. Can we use the name ROK in our ads or marketing? This is a great question. Shout out to James. Great question. You can certainly use ROK in your marketing. We provide a lot of resource for that in the portal. So definitely make sure you look in there. Anytime you do use us or our logo in any of your marketing that's not been approved by us or provided by us, we just ask that, hey, you send an email to marketing@rok.biz. We'll get that approved for you. All of our marketing is done through partnerships, James. So definitely let us know if you have any questions around that. Do we have any prepayment penalties on our loans? No. A lot of times our loans actually have a prepayment discount. If you want to pay off a loan early, you'll actually save money. Thank you all for rocking out with us, and being such great, such a great audience. I hope you guys, like I said, pulled some value from this. I'm going to be jumping over to Instagram. I'll give you guys back a few minutes on your day here. I know we were scheduled till just about 3 p.m. So I'll give you guys a few minutes of your day back. Thank you all again for joining. Thank you to everybody that helps put the webinars together, from marketing to all of the teams that it takes to get this stuff done. Thank you, everybody. And thank you guys for joining us. And until next time, keep rocking, everybody. Thanks.